Yeah,
and people are benefiting on the things that are going wrong in our society.
Well,
and they're selling a bag of goods.
That they are. And no one remembers the book that Jesse Jackson wrote with his sons about how he used becoming a minister and having a church, how he was able to profit from it. And no one talking about that. That seems to have gotten swept under the rug along with his presidential run.
A lot of things get swept under the rug because people don't like hearing the truth. It's like when I talk about the Republican Party and what the Republican Party does for done for the black community. A lot of people just don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. You would rather hear a lie. You would rather hear myth and make believe than to hear the facts. These are the facts. I didn't make them. I didn't write them, but they're here. Understand them. Now, once you know better, you ought to do better. And that's the challenge, is to get people to say, okay, I'm just not going to accept this way anymore. I'm going to do better.
Now, I'm going to ask you, because you were up there with us at the South Carolina Tea Party Convention, and I was on Andrea Shays King's show when I got back Monday night, and I felt it. I felt that there was a turning tide. I felt an energy. I felt an excitement. I felt more positive messages than ever before. And this is the fourth convention I've been at, and they've only had 4. But I also found that when I came back into the community, I'm feeling the same thing. People are not buying or drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. They're starting to wake up. Like you had that meeting with what was it? That was in Chicago with the Reverend Al Sharpton, where his own community turned on him.
Yeah. No, I didn't see that. I need to look at that up. People are not buying the Kool-Aid anymore because they realize that it's not Kool-Aid but muddy water. And don't hand me muddy water anymore and tell me it's Kool-Aid. I have enough sense to know it's Kool-Aid. And people's minds are opening up. I spoke I was spoken last night with one of the social law. Can't think of the name of. But anyhow, I shared with the group on last night. There is a movement. Once we left there, we stopped by the Huddle House to eat, and there was this black minister there, his wife, and a couple of other people there. And we just started conversing. I told them who I was and what I was all about and what I was doing. And they said, we wish you the best. And I said, I don't want you to wish me the best. Do you live in Orangeburg County? And they said, yes. I need your support and your vote. And they said to me, you can count on it. And they are my age group. They're in the mid to late 50s, early 60s. That's telling me there's a paradigm shift going on in society where people are saying nothing positive is happening. We need to change the way we've been doing things. And we have to take that with full strive and keep this momentum going.
Now, I agree. Now, did you feel the same energy I did? Because, there was a lot of people that when I was walking around, I was telling them, have you met Dr. Winn? Do you know he's running against Clyburn? And I was sending people over, and I was saying, make sure you tell them I sent you over there. But,
we got a lot of that. This one lady, I have to tell y'all this. This one lady came up to me. She came and hugged me, and she said, you're black. I said, really? I didn't know that. I said, oh, my God. Please, I thank her for telling me.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah,
I think I think your point is very well taken, is that these car salesmen, when they get the used car salesmen, I should say, they got a clunker in front of you and they want to tell you why you should pay a high price and what a good deal it is when you can clearly see it's not. But with their words and illusions, like a magician, all of a sudden they're like, hey, although that car's missing a motor, it's got potential. I mean, and that's exactly the kind of bull crap that they feed you. And
they sell you an idealism. They don't sell you an idea. They sell you a myth. And if you buy it, then you're stuck. And we need to stop being stuck with the myth. And one of the things I share with people can teach hate. You can separate people by hate. We have been separated by color, black and white, for centuries. It's time to stop. We need to be united on principles, what we believe in as Christians and what we believe in as people where it pertains to our family, our children, and this nation. We need to come together as one, working together for the betterment of all people.
Yeah, it's funny because now I'm pulling out a bunch of articles that, I'm always researching all the way up to just a few minutes before going on the air, and I know Cool Mike was listening to me stapling papers together as I was doing my last-minute notes. But here, your opponent, James Clyburn, just this past Tuesday, made a statement that Americans must decide whether to fight against attempts to undermine the civil rights progress that Martin Luther King Jr. helped achieve. But I don't think he truly understands what those civil rights achievements were.
That's interesting. That's interesting, because entitlement undermined what King taught. Handouts undermine what King taught. Taking people's dignity away undermine what King taught. So I have no idea what he's thinking about, and I can't explain where his mind is at.
Well, one of my favorite, as a former New Yorker, people. One of the reasons why I left the state of New York, actually, it was a matter of days before Hillary was sworn in the first time as senator. He wants to drive a wedge. He wants to poison. This is his word. He wants to poison the Tea Party by driving a wedge between its rich founders and its blue-collar rank and file. And he specifically reach out to and names the Koch brothers. But I'm reading this, and as I'm reading the tripe that he's saying, how he wants to make it the super wealthy against, the grassroots, he obviously doesn't understand conservative principles or what the Tea Party is honestly about.
Let me share something with you, because I totally understand what you're saying, and I totally understand the psychology of others. Prior to being introduced to the Tea Party, my feelings, my sentiments were the same. I thought the Tea Party was a bunch of people that was trying to not exactly undermine the government, but I was just not Tea Party at all until I started meeting people, until I started talking to people. And when I went to this convention on last weekend, it really illuminated my way of thinking, and I'm being frank with you. It really changed the way I thought about the Tea Party. And here's the challenge, is that, have you ever been to my house?
Honestly, no. You have not been to mine either.
I don't know what's in yours. You don't know what's in mine. Until I introduce you to my house, you come in and see how I live and see what I'm all about. Then people can say whatever they want to say. And people can clog your vision of where I live. People can cloud my vision of where you live or how you live, because I don't know, and I don't take the time to find out. I'm going to expose people. Take the time to find out. Just don't listen to what other people say. Find out for yourself. We've been sold a bag of goods for so long because we just based it on what somebody we think that is looking out for us. And really, to be frank about it, they're looking out for themselves. Learn these people for yourself and see what it's about. And you would get a better understanding on who these people are. And once you get a better understanding of who these people are, you will find out you will be joining them because their fight is the same as yours.
Absolutely. And I love telling the story. I got a friend of mine. He proudly says he's a liberal. He happens to be an attorney. Oh, strange. And we shared the bar stool next to each other, and he was watching something on TV. It happened to have been Fox News, and he and I had gotten into some, healthy debates. We always walk away as friends. I said it's always good to have an exchange of ideas. He was very, very pro-Obamacare. And one day he's screaming at the TV, and I looked up, and I forget what it was, but it was something, an issue that I had been championing. And he's screaming at the TV. He goes, I can't believe the media is saying what they're saying. They don't understand it. And as he's ranting and raving, I just looked at him, smiled, one of my sweetest. And I'm learning to be a Southern lady here. I'm learning how to go, bless your heart, and let them walk away 5 minutes later to know that you just
You got to learn how to say darling.
Yes. So that's exactly what I did. And I said, Ken, darling, bless your heart. But you know what? Now you're seeing my side of the argument. We're really not that far apart. And here he is, South Carolina, Beaufort born and bound, and he just looked at me for a second, and he started laughing. He goes, you know what? You're right. You're right. We do agree on more things than we disagree on. And that's what we have to get across. I mean, when Schumer comes out and says that he wants to drive a wedge between what he calls wealthy donors, I mean, my group has 0 donors, so I don't know where these wealthy donors are coming from, or the blue collar. he doesn't even know. We've got a lot of rednecks and blue collars. We've got a lot of executives. We've got, people that are millionaires and people that are paupers. I mean, sometimes I don't have two nickels to rub together. So I don't know what he's talking about. But he fails to understand the principles of the Republican
Party. That you have a
Party.
common bond.
Yeah, and I have no problem with someone keeping the wealth that they honestly worked for.
Exactly.
So if someone is wealthy and he's willing to lend me a hand in an issue I feel passionate about, come aboard, baby. So with Schumer trying to do this, he's not going to drive a wedge. He's only going to help to unite us. So I say, Chucky Schumer, go for it. Go for it, because I'm going to applaud your effort. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch you fail miserably. And I probably, forgive me, Lord, I will be laughing all the way.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mr. Winn, what is as we see? I want to go federal, talking to the president now. As we have seen over the last 4 to 5 years under the leadership of President Obama, he's addressing a true concern within our country, of course, gun control. And the best thing, of course, as we all know, is to remove guns from people like you and I and Annie, because government will protect us. Regarding the Second Amendment, what is your stand? And specifically, what does the Second Amendment mean to Congressman Leon Winn?
Second Amendment means to me, it's just not, guns are just not for me to protect myself and my family. It's for us to even to protect ourselves from the government. If we have to call upon a militia to protect ourselves from government trying to overthrow the freedom of the country, that's what it means to me. Do you recall, well, not you can't recall because this is before some of us was born, but Hitler, first thing Hitler did was take the gun from the Jews. Took all their weapons. Now, when he came up with the idea to start destroying the Jews, they had nothing to fight with. The Second Amendment gives us the right to protect ourselves as well as from foreign and domestic intrusion. That's my outlook on it.
Well, I just posted, my husband posted up in the chat room a link to a newspaper, actually a Fox News article. There's another newspaper. It's called Civitas something or other, one of the major news outlets here in the United States, and they want to put up, they're collecting a database of every single CPW permit holder in the United States. And then I'm willing to bet they're not going to stop at that. They'll just look for every single legal gun owner in the United States. And they're claiming that they're not going to post that database. The initials
really?
BS come to mind. I
understand the wording.
Yeah, and understand this, is that the United States, its Declaration of Independence and its Constitution were formed on victories over what? Its own government.
That's correct.
I mean,
and let me throw this at you all. Let me throw this at you and think about this. I was thinking about this morning, not even to be on the radio show, but I woke up thinking about this. We are streamlining our military. We're cutting back on the military. We're cutting back on the military, yet we are sending aid to our enemies. Do anybody besides me see a problem with that picture?
Oh, man. Living in the heart of the Tri-Command here, I opened up the newspaper today to see that our naval hospital here, and you got to understand, this is a huge military, active and retired community here, between Parris Island Recruit Depot, between the Naval Hospital, between the Marine Corps Air Station, and other outlying bases. This Naval Hospital is extremely busy. And they're going to close down the emergency. They're going to close down the OBGYN. They're going to close down other sections of it also. And they're only going to keep open a clinic, an outpatient clinic. And they're shoveling everyone else over to our local main hospital, Buford Memorial. This hospital can't handle that influx of patients. We need the two hospitals to work in concert together. But because of this budget cut, the $50 million or $500 million or whatever it was, the military is told to cut. Where do they cut? They don't cut these fluff programs. No, they cut it where it's going to hurt the men and women, active and retired, disabled and elderly. They're going to hurt the very men and women we asked to help protect this nation, that we pledged to honor and to give them these benefits. And they're being ripped out from underneath them. First they do it with their pensions, and now they're doing it with the services. It is reprehensible.
And we need to stop it. This will be one of the most, and this is my feeling, one of the most non-presidential election ever. We have a chance to change all of the stuff that we're fighting by putting somewhat different people in the Congress as well as into the Senate. We have to rally people, support. People have to get up, get out, support, grassroots, talk to people, get people sensitized on trying to realize what is going on, get the information out. We have to work extremely hard to make a difference. This is a vital time in our history, and we have to get out there and make a difference. Everybody has to get out there and make a difference. I think you said earlier that you talk to people, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? What are you doing? What are you doing? And we got to let that message resonate throughout the South, or throughout the nation, to be realistic.
And amen to that. I do say that. And that's going to be, when I talk to the crowd on our meeting on Monday and again on Tuesday, that's my question. What are you going to do? These things are happening around us, and who is going to step up into the fight? I'm doing what I can by contacting my congressmen and my senators and speaking out to media outlets, by holding these meetings, by bringing together that meet and greet and question and answer session on Tuesday, by bringing in outside media saying, listen, we're here, we're active, we want you to get the word out so other people can join the fight. I know what I'm doing, and even using this show as a bully pulpit. So I'm going to ask the people out there, what are they doing? It's easy to sit there in front of their computers or on their cell phones or whatever they're using to listen to the show or to listen to other shows. But once you get this information, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to act? Will you pick up that phone? Will you write that email? Will you write that letter to the editor? Will you talk to your friends and neighbors and spread the word?
That's what we need to do.
Okay, I have a couple rapid-fire questions I have for Mr. Leon Winn. Just simple yes or no answers, and the questions come quickly. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All righty. Patriot Act, repeal or keep?
Repeal.
Department of Homeland Security, eliminate or expand?
Eliminate.
Social Security for future generations, 40 years and younger, remained as such or change? Or eliminate? Okay.
Eliminate.
All right. My next question, rapid-fire question. Where is this? Okay. Several states are currently coming up this August and September elections, legalization of marijuana. This stems from Colorado's passing of the legalization in November of 2013. As Congressman, would you support a national bill that would legalize marijuana for the entire 50 states?
Unsure.
Yes or no?
I have to take the gray area on that. I'm unsure.
Okay, now here's another one. Legalization of cocaine, heroin, and other narcotics,
no.
as Ron Paul suggested in his last presidential debate.
No.
Okay, do you feel that drug testing by employers is a violation of rights, yes or no?
No.
And would you favor a bill that would take the U.S. Senate and senators back to the states to where they are appointed by the individual House of Representatives and state senators in their individual states rather than being voted on by the public, yes or no?
No, public.
Okay. Annie?
Well, we're right down to...
You know what? Let me ask you a question.
We're down to our 4 minutes here, Mike.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Mr. Winn, what is like... what's like what is your favorite band? What is something about you that's non-political, like music, or just a little bit about Leon Winn other than politics?
Other than the church preaching, I love being around my family. I love to hunt. I'm a hunter. I love to hunt. That's my pastime. Get me up in a tree and it's cold like it is right now, the wind not blowing so hard, I'm totally relaxed. Helping people.
Alrighty.
And helping people. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter how tired I am. I get such a gratification when I get an opportunity to help somebody, some way, somehow. If it's an old lady side of the road changing a tire, I don't know it. That's one of the things I just love helping people.
Thank you, Mr. Winn. Annie?
Well, I got to say, for some reason, for the last week or so, I've had this one song that's been going through my head, and would you believe it? It's not a popular tune. It's not one of my favorite artists, but it happens to be, I think, now one of my favorite songs, How Great Thou Art. For some reason, I cannot get that song out of my head. Well, Reverend Winn, I want to thank you for joining us, and I know we're going to have you back several more times before the election is going to come, so just be prepared. I'm going to keep on calling on you, and I'll talk to your campaign manager a little bit later on.
I'm honored that y'all would have me. God bless everybody.
Thank you so very much.
All righty.
Dr. Winn, his website, please go to it, leonwinn.com.